My name is Anderson Moore. I am writing this journal because I'm one of the few remaining survivors. I have found the solution to the world's problem. It all happened on June of 2030. Everything was just the way it always has been. I went to work to do mail service since I used to work as a mailman. On my stop at a local town coffee shop, I saw that the news told of many unidentified flying objects heading for the Earth's atmosphere at a very high velocity. I thought to myself that it must be meteors. On my way out of the coffee shop, I got into my mailing van and continued to go do my job as a U.S. Postal Service worker. As I drove down toward the David Lee Roth Avenue, I noticed a small protest at a distance. When I drove a bit closer, I stopped. There was a man on the microphone shouting to a crowd of people. Out of curiosity, I decided to listen to what he was saying. He shouted, "Listen up, people. We are at our final days. This was predicted for thousands of years as the end of days. We need to prepare ourselves for the Armageddon. If you want to survive, then you should go underground into bunkers." The United States government knew of this invasion ahead of time and is already prepared for the worst case scenario. They will hide their politicians and those people randomly chosen into underground bunkers for the onslaught. But many of us who aren't so lucky will have to fend for ourselves against the hostile extraterrestrial species. They're expected to arrive at 1 a.m. midnight. The crowds begun to get larger and larger. Some people thought it was a joke and were laughing, although others began to panic. I stepped out of my mailing truck to listen. I stepped into a crowd of people bumping into each other in panic to see what the reactions on people's faces were. Suddenly, I accidentally bumped into a guy. I said, "I'm sorry, sir." He replied, "No worries. What is your name?" "Anderson Moore, and what's yours?" He was a bald man of Hispanic origin of about 75 years of age. "My name is Joe Sanchez. People just call me Joey." "Hey, let's move aside from this crowd because I have some information that you may like to find out, which will serve some good use for you." We moved aside from the crowd and went over on the side street, away from all the commotion. "You do know that we're being invaded by a hostile extraterrestrial species, some called Alftramadon. They are coming from a nearby galaxy called Andromeda, which will in several billion years collide with ours," said Joey. "I thought it was just asteroid debris. How do you know this information?" I replied, "You may or may not believe this, but I used to work for the government as one of the secret scientists specifically focused on when this invasion will take place." "Really?" "No way," I replied. "In 1965, NASA satellites identified incredibly fast-moving objects headed for Earth's surface. Their speed was 5 times greater than any asteroid or meteor ever identified in space. I find this kind of hard to believe since I never believed in aliens from outer space." Well, listen up. In 1995, one of the Ultramodern scout ships crashed in Arizona. The government confiscated it as fast as they could without causing any commotion to the outside public. We later found an injured Alftramadonian, who we have interrogated with water to tell us what was going on. "Water?" I replied. "What do you mean you interrogated the alien with water?" "Yes, water," replied Joey. "Their skin reacts to water as ours would react to acid. They have a much different chemical compound than ours." This all seemed to hit me too fast all at once. I recall having a regular day just a few hours earlier, but now this chaos seemed to be unfolding. The alien told the government agents that they are millions of years more advanced than human beings. He told them that the Ultramadonians are planning an invasion to take over Earth and use our resources for their further development. The aliens said that their species did that a few times in the past since their planet got overpopulated and they went to the next and the next one to take it over. "But why Earth?" I replied. "Aren't there more planets in our galaxy suitable for their needs?" "The reason why they chose Earth is because they choose planets that are already civilized, so that they can freeload of all the materials and minerals we have mined opposed to them doing the mining themselves. They need gold, mercury, copper, silver, and other metals to sustain their chemical balance. To them, it's like food for us." "Are you saying that they consume various different metals?" "Yes, indeed. I just wanted to let you know that if any one of them takes off their protected suit, all you have to do is splash them with water and they will disintegrate." Joey replied, "But why doesn't the government military take care of them instead of regular civilians like me?" I asked. "The government is dealing with the issue of overpopulation. And it's not just our government, but all governments in the world." "Overpopulation?" I asked. "Are you saying that the governments want to get rid of their own citizens? They all plan together to let the hostile alien species eradicate much of humanity to leave more space for those that they are protecting." "You're kidding me?" And all this time, I believed that the government wanted the best for us, since I have a government job myself. The politicians and those who will help the New World Order to take shape. New World Order. I thought that this was all a bunch of bogus. New World Order is real. I am just afraid that their evil plan will collapse and they won't be able to defend themselves in time to save our civilization. The Altramadonians are far more advanced than we are. They also don't want anyone to know how to protect themselves from this alien species. Joey replied. I thought to myself, what a bummer. Can all this really be happening? I always thought that the government was there to protect its citizens. Not only do they want most of the population dead, but they want the invading alien species do it so they don't leave the blood stains on their hands. Thank you, Joey, for informing me. I think my working day's over. Take care and good luck. I replied. Take care, Anderson, and remember, it's water that will repel them. Later that afternoon, I came back home to stock up my entire house with water using tap water from the sink with as many waterproof containers that I could find around the house. Later in the day, I turned on the news channel on my television, and what they told to be asteroid debris was now clear that it wasn't. They were now talking about the invasion that would be happening in less than 3 hours. Many people weren't even half as prepared as I was. I logged in on my social media profiles and wrote public posts that water would repel the alien invaders. I got many responses from people either laughing at me or thinking that I'm crazy. It was 12:30 a.m. Now, and as predicted by the news, the invading species would start showing up in our skies. At about 1 a.m., I went outside and looked at the moon illuminating the sky. I first saw a few small dots on the moon. Then the dots kept doubling and tripling until the moon was almost not seen anymore and got pitch black. I was outside on my porch as I heard people screaming from a distance. Then I saw explosions in the distant city under my suburban hill neighborhood. The explosions and fires kept getting more intense from a distance as I saw one of their flying ships pass over my neighborhood. I ran back into my house and went to hide to the basement filled with jars and containers of water. I heard the explosions outside in the distance. I turned on the basement television I had set up to CNN News and saw a reporter outside at the scene trying to give the news to the people. He said, it seems as though this invasion is taking place as we speak. Please, if any of you see this, go to the nearest shelter near you. They are first attacking the central targets of the cities to eliminate the power supply which keeps all of us connected through medias. And I saw an explosion behind the reporter, and the TV went static. Soon after, I heard footsteps over my basement, as if someone was walking but was more of a giant than a human being. I went upstairs to peep through the crack of my old door. I saw a large extraterrestrial alien with a glass suit on. He kind of looked like an octopus with humanoid features, very similar to the movie Independence Day. As he took off his glass suit, I knew there was my chance to kill him. So I ran at him with a large jar of water and sprayed him while screaming from the adrenaline rush that I was feeling. Surely enough, I saw the alien's upper body melt, and he was dead. It has been a month since that incident. Humanity is still cut off with any contact toward each other. I am still in my basement locked up with my supplies. I am writing this journal to any civilian who may find this to know the secret how to kill this invading alien species. If I don't make it, I want for humanity to keep on living. I know the government now started fighting off this invasion, but I'm not sure how long it will take them to fight them off, or if they will be able to. The one thing I want you to remember who is reading this right now is that water kills these bastards. May God help us all.